The director of the hit sci-fi film iRobot is taking aim at Elon Musk, accusing Tesla of copying robot and vehicle designs from his 2004 film for the company's new lineup of autonomous products.
The Tesla event held in October 2024 had all the hallmarks of another milestone in Elon Musk's relentless push toward a future defined by innovation, automation, and artificial intelligence. The unveiling of Tesla's new robovan, the Cybercab, and a new version of the Optimus robot was expected to stir the world of technology. Musk's ambition, as ever, seemed limitless, presenting self-driving vehicles and humanoid robots that could serve drinks, babysit children, mow lawns, and even become companions. But little did he know, the evening would not pass without a shadow hanging over it. One cast by a Hollywood director whose work seemed eerily prescient. Alex Proyas, the Australian filmmaker best known for his 2004 sci-fi thriller iRobot, took to social media to voice his concerns. In a tweet that would go viral, he asked Musk, "Hey Elon, can I have my designs back, please?" Proyas shared a side-by-side comparison of images from his film and the latest Tesla prototypes, raising the question, had Musk's design team borrowed a little too heavily from iRobot? It wasn't long before fans of both men were caught in a storm of speculation, defending or decrying the claims.
You know, Alex Proyas already designed all of these things back in 2004 when the movie iRobot was released.
Okay, hang on. Alex Proyas didn't design anything. It was a movie. I mean, people have been making movies for over 100 years, and there are hundreds, thousands of movies and TV shows with science fiction robots and robo-cars. Elon and the teams of designers and engineers at Tesla have made all these real things: Optimus, Robovan, and Cybercab.
The comparisons made by Proyas were striking. The Tesla Cybercab, a sleek, autonomous vehicle with no steering wheel or pedals, seemed almost identical to the futuristic vehicle driven by Will Smith's character, Detective Del Spooner, in iRobot. The Optimus robot, while a little less humanoid than the police force robots in the film, nonetheless resembled their overall shape and movement. Could it be coincidence, or was Musk's latest foray into AI and robotics a case of unacknowledged inspiration? The debate stirred not just fans of sci-fi or Tesla enthusiasts, but also the broader conversation about the blurry line between fiction and reality. iRobot was a film set in a world where intelligent robots, bound by Asimov's famous 3 laws, played an integral role in daily life. In the movie, robots were everywhere, in homes, on the streets, and even in law enforcement. The film's depiction of a future governed by autonomous technology, albeit with dangerous consequences, had long lingered in the public consciousness as a warning. Could it be that the future Musk envisioned with Tesla had come too close to the dystopian world that Proyas had brought to life on the big screen? This question raised concerns over the implications of developing autonomous systems, as society had not yet fully grasped their potential risks. While the movie focused on robots gaining autonomy beyond human control, Tesla's AI-driven advancements seemed eerily similar, creating the possibility of a future where technology could surpass human decision-making. The ethical and practical dilemmas surrounding this innovation were not just speculative anymore. As Tesla and other companies continued to push the boundaries of artificial intelligence, the fear of entering a future where technology ruled over humanity, as depicted in iRobot, seemed to inch closer to becoming a reality. For Musk, the connection between Tesla's products and iRobot might have come as an unwelcome surprise. After all, Musk had always embraced science fiction influences, citing works like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Blade Runner as part of his inspiration. The Cybertruck, for example, had famously been described by Musk as an armored personnel carrier from the future that could have been driven by the characters of Blade Runner. But this time, the criticism was different. This wasn't a reference to a genre or a general aesthetic. It was a claim of direct similarity, not just in design, but in the execution of a vision for the future. The comparison between the Cybercab and the vehicle from iRobot seemed all too obvious. In both, the vehicle was self-driving and sleek, its body designed with curves and edges that looked almost organic. The absence of a steering wheel or pedals in the Cybercab mirrored the high-tech cars that whisked Smith's character around a futuristic Chicago. Musk, who had been building toward an autonomous future for years, with Tesla's electric vehicles, had seemingly created his version of the self-driving car, a product that was directly in line with what Proyas had imagined 2 decades earlier. But it wasn't just the cybercab that drew Proyas' attention. It was the Optimus robot that had many seeing double. The humanoid form of the Tesla bot looked strikingly similar to the robots that served as the autonomous police force in iRobot. Both were constructed with sleek, minimalistic bodies, designed for efficiency rather than expression. Although Musk's Optimus bots lacked the expressive faces of Proyas robots, the resemblance between the two was undeniable. Proyas himself seemed to agree, with production designer Patrick Tatopoulos reposting the side-by-side images on Instagram and acknowledging the uncanny similarity between the two designs. It was a subtle yet powerful acknowledgement that the two creations bore more than a passing resemblance to one another. As the debate raged on, fans of Musk and Tesla were quick to defend the entrepreneur. Some pointed to the long history of robots and futuristic vehicles in science fiction. Was Proyas truly the first to imagine sleek humanoid machines? Couldn't the similarities between Tesla's products and the designs in iRobot simply be the result of a shared cultural vision of the future? One that had been influenced by decades of sci-fi cinema, literature, and art? After all, the design of robots had followed a natural trajectory. From the clunky mechanical constructs of Metropolis to the streamlined humanoid figures of iRobot, the form had evolved, always pushing closer to the shape of a person, yet still mechanical. There was, some argued, no harm in Tesla drawing from this vast, shared pool of imagery. Others, however, were less forgiving. Musk's penchant for touting his designs as entirely original, while borrowing freely from cinematic history, seemed a little disingenuous. Had he truly developed a groundbreaking innovation, or had he simply lifted ideas from the visions of artists who had dreamed of these technologies long before he had? The line between inspiration and imitation became increasingly blurred, as many pointed out that Musk's bold claims of being at the forefront of technological progress often seemed to ignore the fact that the concepts he championed were deeply rooted in sci-fi literature and films. A similar accusation had followed Musk's announcement of the Cybertruck, which many had noted bore a striking resemblance to vehicles from Blade Runner and other works of cyberpunk fiction. With its angular, futuristic design, the Cybertruck seemed to channel the dystopian aesthetics of Ridley Scott's iconic film. Was the same happening here with Tesla's AI-driven technology? Critics argued that Musk's ventures appeared to be repackaging ideas first explored in popular culture, blurring the line between creator and copycat. While Musk certainly brought a unique approach to the table, these comparisons raised questions about the authenticity of his innovations. Were his ideas truly revolutionary, or was he simply stepping into a world imagined by others long before him? In the end, whether Musk's designs were truly derivative or not, one thing was clear. iRobot had made a lasting impact on the imagination of the public. Proyas had certainly done his part in bringing that world to life, blending themes of artificial intelligence with a cautionary tale about the unchecked growth of technology. As Tesla raced toward a future where autonomous vehicles and humanoid robots might become commonplace, one had to ask, had Proyas' world been too prescient for its own good? For Proyas, the issue wasn't necessarily one of theft. It was more about the recognition of the hard work that went into creating the iconic designs of iRobot. When you work with a talented design team to craft the visuals of a world, it's not just about the story, it's about how that world looks and feels. And to have those designs appear in the real world, in a form that had been nearly indistinguishable from the film's fictional creations, was an odd, if flattering, turn of events. For many, the story ended there. A filmmaker who had imagined a future now seeing his visions become reality, even if that reality was a little more corporate than cinematic. But for others, it raised bigger questions about the intersection of art and technology. Had the lines between the two blurred so much that the line between inspiration and imitation was now impossible to see? In the weeks that followed, Musk remained quiet in the face of Proyas' criticism. The Tesla event had come and gone, and the conversation about his designs continued to swirl. What remained was the underlying truth that Musk's creations, whether entirely original or not, were a tangible part of the future. Whether or not they owed something to iRobot, Metropolis, or any other science fiction classic, they had moved beyond the realm of imagination and were now standing on the brink of reality. The fact that Tesla's AI, autonomous vehicles, and futuristic technologies were no longer confined to the pages of fiction meant they could no longer be dismissed as mere fantasy. Even if Musk's designs were influenced by works of art and speculative fiction, they had evolved into real-world innovations that were shaping the future. Critics and enthusiasts alike had to acknowledge that the technology he was pushing forward was undeniably impactful. The conversation had shifted from theoretical musings about what might be possible to actual developments that were beginning to change how society interacted with technology. Musk's creations may not have been entirely novel in inspiration, but they were undeniably at the forefront of a new era, one where fiction increasingly blurred into reality. As Proyas continued to share his thoughts on AI and robotics through his Patreon account, he had made it clear that his work had always been about more than just robots or self-driving cars. It was about a world, a society, that had to grapple with the consequences of the technology it had created. Perhaps, in a way, that was the most important question in all of this. Whether, in the rush to build the future, we ever took a moment to question where it would take us.